Hi guys, thanks for joining me. This is going to be a different Birmingham at War. Basically, I'm not going to move from my chair in front of this screen, and I want to just recount a bit of an adventure that myself and three of my mates had. So, basically, the four of us decided we'd visited Normandy together, and we decided that we'd like to go somewhere else. And we thought of visiting Ypres in Belgium. None of us had ever been there, um, and we wanted to visit a place that was involved during World War One. Now, Ypres itself, the town centre, which you can see in front of you, the town centre wasn't actually was in British hands, um, but unfortunately, because the Germans had the high ground, all this centre was just absolutely flattened. This cloth hall, which is here, which is now the Flanders Museum, was absolutely decimated because it had a large tower on it, and so the German guns could just zone in on that area. And this was one of the main routes to and from the front line, I believe. Um, Belgium has done an amazing thing of putting things back practically as they were. And if anybody has the opportunity to visit Ypres, I would really recommend it. One of my friends, Chris, um, from that first time that we went, I think he goes every year now, and that must have been, I don't know, possibly 10, 8 years ago. And because of that visit as well, it's really um, just made his interest in World War One grow, you know, to quite incredible depths now. He was always very good at remembering history and so on. When we went to the World War Two battlefields, he would know quite a bit. But yeah, I think World War One has stolen his heart almost for learning things and collecting things. So let's get back to the story of why this is a Birmingham at War episode. So we wanted to visit Ypres, and we were looking for somewhere to stay. So if I just pan out a bit, and hopefully I can find it. And one of my other mates, Clive, I think it was, read about this bed and breakfast, Violet Farm. Now, during World War One, Violet Farm was held by the Germans, um, but in 1917, the British Naval Brigade, I think it was the HMS Hood Regiment, attacked the farm and successfully captured it, although it was heavily fortified. Now, the farm that exists at present is not the original, but it's on the same plot of land. I don't know whether the original farm was up past this way somewhere, and they just built it here. So we got a place to stay. So we obviously packed our bags, paid our money, and we went off to Ypres and called in at Violet Farm to drop our bags off and freshen up, ready to go out on the town and start looking at stuff. Now, the lady at the time, who was married to the chap who owns it at present, she was very enthusiastic historian, and as you can imagine, with this being a battlefield site, the whole of this part of Belgium, this is a working farm, and quite often, on a regular basis, they're turning up munitions that have to be safely disposed of. And she'd got a collection of munitions that had been either, it was just shell casings or they'd been disarmed. And so she gave a little talk to the people who were staying there, which was really interesting. And as I say, they're just ploughing the fields and they're just ploughing this stuff up. So anyway, it was decided that we'd have a shower and then we'd hit the town. Now, my mates, there was also Kurt involved, So the three of them, they shower, I think, every day, whereas I don't. I'm like every other day. So they went off and had their shower, and I just got ready, and so I was kicking my heels a bit. So what I did was I after we'd had this talk, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be fantastic if I could actually find something myself? So I came out to the drive and was just walking along the edge of this field, and sure enough, there on the top of the surface, I found a cartridge, and I will show you that cartridge now. So here it is. Although the bullet was actually out the top, as you can see, when I investigated it, the cordite was still inside, which was really interesting. So this was a dropped bullet, but as I say, for some reason a dropped cartridge, but for some reason the bullet was no longer in there. If we look at the base, we got a bit of detail on there, but unfortunately most of it's worn away, and as you can see, the percussion cap hasn't been struck, so it was a dropped cartridge. Now I managed to get some, believe it or not, get some serial numbers off this cartridge, and discovered that it was made in 1917 by a company called Kinox. So what I did was, when I got back home, as I say, I cleaned it up, found it was a 1917 cartridge, which is just fantastic, because that was the date when Violet Farm was taken by the British. This is a .303 cartridge, so it is a British cartridge. And as I say, the company that made it was a company called Kinox. And Kinox, as we can see on here, I'll just have to move it over a bit, guys. So you can see Imperial Chemical Industries Limited, Ely, Kynoch factories, and that's in Witton, and Witton is in Birmingham. To give you some idea how near it is to the city centre, you got the Witton Road here and Witton Lane. Can you see Aston Villa? That's Aston Villa Football Club. Yeah. So really close to the city centre. Kynox used to actually be, originally when it was in 1800 and something, was actually in the city centre, but they had a huge explosion which killed, I think it was 20 odd people. And so when the guy who owned it decided he better move the factory out, and they moved to Witton in again late 1800s. So this bullet, this cartridge that I found in Ypres, was produced at a Birmingham munitions factory. It's just it was the way it was, like Birmingham lads were going to Ypres to find something related to Birmingham, was just quite eerie, really. And that chance finding the cartridge on the surface was just fantastic. We've visited a few sites since, and I think everybody now, the other three guys, have managed to find something at various locations. Birmingham was known as the city of 1,000 trades, and obviously this was one of them. I mean, there are other factories that I can show you on maps, once I actually identify exactly where they are, where tanks were made. Obviously the Spitfire was made at Castle Bromwich in Birmingham, and so on. But I thought I'd just give a quick story about a small item, and thanks ever so much for watching.